Brothers and sisters, as today's gospel and first reading come to us, there is a mixed evaluation given to shrewdness. The prophet Amos condemns those who look for the best time to cheat the poor and to fix the scales so that they can take advantage of the needy. He condemns those who plot to sell inferior wheat and other products to the poor and to the needy. Now, Jesus speaks of the dishonest servant who was praised by his master, who himself had a questionable level of honesty. And yet, the positive evaluation is that shrewdness, such as the steward had, is also an expression of prudence, our creativity. We want to market. Marketing calls for shrewdness, for prudence, and creativity. My goodness, we even market church membership. We reach out to folks and we want to tell people the blessings of what it is to be a member of the Catholic Church. We reach out and advertise and invite people back who've been away from the church, with Catholics returning home. In every walk of life, we advertise. And very often it's something like a calculated risk, but it's what we do in order to have success, in order to fulfill a vision, in order to give something and someone whom we believe in. And so I'd like to suggest that our reflection today, with readings that can be fertile in many different directions, I'd like to suggest our reflection today is on creativity. Creativity that is positive. We're just coming from this weekend of a glorious Oktoberfest. It's been a marketing success. It's a fundraiser, a community builder among the volunteers and the sponsors, but also a community builder among all those who attend. It's an expression of joy and a statement that our church and our life are not confined within the walls of our magnificent cathedral, but also extend through the life and the spirit of our parishioners as we share our love for Christ the King. And you know, as well as I do, that the Oktoberfest serves as a reach out and an identity confirmation for many parishioners whom we do not see here on Sundays. And even though we have a way to go, we are glad that there is this connection. There's been a lot of creativity and prudence enhancing our Oktoberfest over the years. The October Dash, the development of headliner musical performers, new children's games and activities, better security, a variety of food and drinks, a relocation of some of our prime tents and booths. The list goes on. But I suggest that we move beyond Oktoberfest and we explore how creativity, prudently applied, touches our spiritual lives. I'm going to take just one aspect. It's the feeling of being stuck. Feeling little connection with God or Jesus or the Holy Spirit. Feeling flat, feeling no passion for our prayer, and perhaps even that our prayers go unanswered and maybe even unheard. It's not necessarily denying God, but feeling that God has become irrelevant. Maybe that's the description of an unbelieving believer, or someone on the edge, or people who feel like they're just going through the motions, or someone who says, I was baptized, I grew up Catholic, but I don't know why I'm Catholic. Or someone who says, I feel stuck in some sin or some other flaw, and I don't see a way to become free. Well, the prudent approach is to do some internal work, to get creative, to think outside the box, especially because the prevailing ideas and approaches can box a person in. What's the creative work that we can do? Well, first, it's good to listen to some other voices other than your own, to read spiritually helpful literature, even pamphlets that offer some encouraging words, to view educational and inspirational videos, to take a class like our Catholic Way Bible study, to talk to friends, to do some service work, which leads you to encounter the poor, to go on a retreat. In 3 weeks, we'll be hosting a mission, October 13th, 14th, and 15th. Soon after that is the weekend for the Light of the World retreat here at the parish. You know, the key very often is to find a way to talk with a friend whom you can trust, who will respect your questions and your feelings. The temptation, which is part of a faith slump, is to disengage. The first prudent step out of the box is to find a creative way to get engaged. Introspection can be positive or negative. Positive introspection leads us to see not only the sin and the weakness in our lives, but also to see the grace and the blessings. It helps us to realize that our family and our personal histories are not just a series of messy incidents, nor an award-winning saga, but a blend of the two. You know, we approach life in one of four primary ways. We're either a thinker, or a feeler, or one who senses, or one who relies primarily on intuition. It's helpful to know which of these is our strongest suit and which is our weakest, and to draw from our strongest approach in order to regain energy, but also to be aware that our weakest approach can particularly be an avenue for allowing God's grace to penetrate us, because we are less able to control when we are in that mode. Again, our primary ways of processing life are either by thinking, or feeling, or sensing, or intuiting. Very often, there's one big loss, one big pain, which dominates our lives. You know, it's like our lives are this big, and the hurt within it is about that big. And our temptation is to say, well, what can I do to pop this hurt so that I won't be so dominated by it? And brothers and sisters, that's just another way to describe denial. The prudent and creative thing is to expand our lives. You know, the hurt is an expression of a value. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's very painful if it controls us, though, and if it takes up most of our energy and space, our psychic space. If we expand ourselves by good experiences, the hold that hurt has on us becomes much less. The prudent and creative thing is to expand our lives. And how do we do that? By faith, hope, and love. As we do so, the joy of life can be felt in an even deeper way than we could ever imagine. In some ways, brothers and sisters, all of us are wounded healers. It's important for us to draw from the creativity we have inside ourselves, to make some prudent decisions, if you will, to even take some calculated risks, but to market the inner strength that we have inside, to market the Holy Spirit that we have inside to the consumer that is within us, so that we'll be able to seize upon that, to get out of a box which is imprisoning us, and to move forward, to live with joy and energy and passion. We've got it within ourselves, each and every one of us, because the Holy Spirit is with each and every one of us. It's important for us, though, to be wise, prudent, and creative as we draw from the resources which we have inside ourselves so that we can move forward.